Now, hello there, everyone. Today we're going to be talking and reviewing the Liber Knights. Now, this is part of the 30-minute fantasy line, and this is Eddie the first. Yeah, this is Eddie the first one for the series that came out, and the thing is, I think it's pretty cool. Now, there's the three subclasses. So yes, there's three of them. I thought there were two. Now, here's the thing: is the third one is a commander one, and they have not showed that one off. That one's still hidden behind the little thing they're showing off. So, if you go on the main website, it shows all the subclasses and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. And this is one of the first ones out of the other Libers and other Rosans and stuff like that. But I did buy this around the same time as it got the Renaissance Knights or Resin Knight. And it was same pricing, so if you want to get this for the same pricing you can. It's actually pretty reasonable. I wish it came with one of the armor sets, either Paladin or the Holy Knight as armor set, so you have it with this, so you don't have to spend as much. Kind of what they did with the kind of what they did with the Liber Warrior, where that one was the main fighter set, and then came with the Warrior armor set. Well, something like this was for this, but they haven't done that. They haven't. But let's talk about the Liber Knights and let's see if it's worth your money. Now, the Liber Knight is the first of the 30-minute fantasy line. And actually, I do like how it looks compared to some of the later lines, I'm going to be honest. But I will say, for being a knight, I think it was pretty good, actually. And I will say, I do like the helmet for what it is. It's a classic design looking versus a lot of other knife figures that have been coming out in the last few years, I will say. And I will say, I wish it had some armor down here at the legs, but I don't understand why, due to this knee gauntlet thing right here. And that's one problem I do think that I think it has, that if they find out a way to make more armor around this area, it could have worked. And I will say, you do want to get the sword done actually properly. You get to use this metallic paint right here, and just layer it on to cover the sword properly. And the handle does come off. I understand why the two-piece thing, but yes. Anyways. And I would say the shield is pretty basic, I'm going to be honest. However, I understand why, because the other Holy Knight and the Paladin is the other two armor sets, and technically we do have what's it called? The other two new ones that are coming out. Let me look at my phone. Give me a second. I have some of the names on my phone already for some of the stuff I work with. Which is technically which is a commander one, which is actually pretty cool when it comes out. From what I know and images I've seen from it, I think it looks pretty cool looking, and technically that's the third set we are getting. Now, I will say these clothes are basically elbow. No, I don't know. It's under the shoulder, but I think it was pretty cool too. It kind of breaks it actually. It kind of breaks the if it's like all flat, it doesn't really work. But I will say, for the accessories you can get, I think it looks pretty good. And when you do line it, like back here, under the armor, back in that piece, under the skirts, and it does give it a lot of ways to give it the way it should look. Behind detail on the thighs, some under the leg, which I do need to get some parts under the leg again, actually. And you get some parts again, so that's on me. And with armor so posable, what the fuck going back that far? And still, it kicked pretty far back up. Is kick up to the back, which is pretty good with armor on. So, and I will say the only problem I don't really like about this figure is that with the short pieces, since they are on this kind of on its weird hinge joints, it does make it hard at times to pose it to the extreme. I really wish they had this they done it a different way, having with the armor on the shoulder, so you could just get a little more. But it does give it that kind of joint of where it does go a little more farther up, and does cover up some joints. And design is kind of my favorite compared to a lot of this. Now, the accessories you do get, what they did put out two of them. Now, you have two holding hands, two fist hands, and a pair of open hands, which is actually pretty good. Because you do need holding hands or open hands to make sure you can have a variety of ranges, which is pretty cool. But you do get, this is what I did point out with the warrior, piece to hold the shield and sword actually. Well, technically, if you just want to have the shield, you use the little plug back here, and I didn't really get the back of this actually. You actually can, and I keep dropping it. Shit. I think that's pretty good. And the thing is, since there is technically 4 areas to do it, you can get a certain ranges, so you can have a shirt on the back like this if you wanted to. But if you want, you just have the sword only back here, either by the plug right there or by the clip. Which technically you can do both. So I'm gonna take that first for what reason. So put this right here, and let me get this on. It's not easy at times, and you can put it on the shield. Well, you don't have to put it on the shield, but it's an option. But I like it on the shield because it does kind of make it look a lot more cooler. However, you can put it on the side also. So with the 3mm port, you can actually plug it wherever you want. Here, white here, but okay. On the chest. On the back as well also. So it's right back here if you want to. So in case you want to have a certain style, you could, and you could use the plugs back here. So you can, if you have a second one, you can plug a second sword back here, which would be kind of cool. But that's what you need by some of the weapon option sets and some of the other optional equipment to make it really more cooler, to make it really worth that kind of money. And those are like $10. But it's so awesome that you get the variety to make this work as a figure. And posability is the same as the Rosen Knight, which is the same. So don't turn the joints back foot pretty far. It does get far up too. The armor does get away a little bit, but not too much. But if you move to the side, it does go pretty far up, more than 90 degrees. It does bend pretty much forward, which is actually pretty good for a figure like this. Pretty much, not too much back. Kind of sucks though. Not double jointed arms. I really wish it had some double jointed arms, but it's a single jointed arm and does go past 90. The head looks up that far and down this far because the neck joint is on. It is connected at the chest, and it is all ball joint. So technically, you can just figure that out pretty easily. These are on the legs are on drop down joints, so you can drop them down to get more range, which is actually pretty awesome. And now size wise, he is actually sizable to certain more figures. Now, here's Hatsune Miku from BoDleasons. It looks pretty good. And here's Optimus Prime Agent Extinction. Or Last Night. I know they released the Last Night variant too, but I haven't picked that up yet. I'm probably gonna pick it up soon. Yeah, sizing is pretty good. It is the size of a BoDleasons type of figure, but I think it's pretty cool too. But I'd like to get my final thoughts on this. I will say it's pretty good for a starter kit, and for a starter model kit with the details you can work on, and if you're really interested into painting it into like a heavier, shinier color, you actually can. I will say I would do that for mine. If I buy a second one, which I probably will, knowing me, I will probably do just at least a silver on almost on all of it to make it really awesome looking. Because I do like how it looks, and the thing is, it's a standard figure. It's standard in like the way it looks, but it's pretty cool looking of how it does things. It's not just how it is. So yeah, I just woke up a bit ago, so yeah. Now it's actually pretty good for what it is and for what it comes with. For the bare accessories, I think it's pretty good. One thing that I wish it came with is technically better articulation. I would have better articulation, especially when the arms. So the legs are double jointed. Okay, here are things. The legs are double jointed. The legs are double jointed from the knee to the lower leg. That one is it's double. This one has single jointed arms, and this is for all the 30-minute fancy in general. That a lot of the joints are single jointed for the arms. The skeletons on their own terms, they're single jointed in general, which is not my favorite part about that one. But you do get two of them to make it worth the pricing. But let's get back to the main point about it. Is that that I was it is good looking, especially when you pale line it, put some color on it. That is pretty good, and I think it's worth the money for being a $20 or so model kit. Basic bare bones, but when you get the add-ons, let's say the other Paladin and Holy Knight armor sets, it's really worth that by that point, because that means you get the gold, the silver, or not sorry, like a gray, like a gray Paladin armor on this. It looks pretty good too. I only have the Holy Knight armor set, so you want to get that one too, you need to pay maybe $10. And best way to look is in hobby shops if you can. Especially like Copy Town or online shopping. Best way to look in those places to find the specific ones you're into or looking for. But but tell me what you think. Would you get this one or the Warrior? Or I have almost all of them. Trust me, I have almost all of them. I'm missing of like 4 more. That's not including the dragon I'm making too for next month or this month. I'm excited for that when that's coming out. Dragon is going to be the same size, just as big as the knights. So that sizing is not my favorite because it's a little more. It's pretty shrunk down dragon to thing, and then you can ride it. But technically, you could have bought the horse too from another minute, from another minute, from the 30-minute missions line in general. That they have a horse and black and white, so you could bought that to make it work with this, but we'll talk about that. But that's a whole different story of adding new things and making it work and stuff like that. Yeah. But what do you think? Would you pick up this model kit for your own collection? And especially if you're into the fancy type of stuff, or into like collecting stuff and this stuff. So yeah. What do you think? I will be out, yo, and whenever I do. Peace out, people.